Questions? Hi everyone, welcome to Zebi AMA. This is the first of the several ones we are going to roll out this year, and we basically wanted to have an interactive conversation with all of our community, our coin holders, and our the faithful in Zebi and our vision to bring blockchain to fruition. And so basically, I have Babu with me out here, and basically what we are gonna do, we collected a whole bunch of questions from the community, and what we'll try to do is basically answer them as much as possible. And should there be any questions from the community, I think there is a chat window where you would be able to post them, and Zebi team is actually live and tracking some of those, and so that they'll message us and we'll try to address them as well. So with that, Babu, you want to start off with the first few questions that we have from our community?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks, Sudhir. And hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. And like I said earlier in our previous announcement of transitioning to the new CEO, I'm very, very happy, glad, excited to invite Sudhir Kuppam, my good friend of several decades and co-founder from the beginning, and who has been helping us behind the scenes for Zebi, but now he's at the forefront. And one of the associates in London, he called this Zebi moving from strength to strength. So that's what is happening. So we are much stronger now with Sudhir full-time at CEO role. And I hope you can all see it. And you might have already seen the announcements happening in the last few weeks. We're doing more of product updates. We just crossed 1,000 hotels. So it's a huge, huge thing. I can't hear you guys, but I hope you can see us and hear us very well. So the first few questions, I guess these are long questions. Just stay patient as we're going through them, and we'll answer them in as much detail as we can. So there is a thing about the theoretical market cap value of Zebi tokens in using PE ratio or dividend yields or traditional equity market. But I don't think we are using anything here. And as you know, crypto market is new, modern. It has its own way of valuating, and a lot of it depends on the overall market sentiment. And people are talking about rally in Ethereum or Bitcoin. Obviously, we can't know anything for sure, but it looks like we're closer to bottom than the top, right? Okay, so there is a question on the Telegram. Okay, but our official response is we are focused on business growth. We are growing tremendously. Like I said, we just crossed 1,000 hotels. Both on the technology platform side, I think there'll be few updates from Zebi on the public blockchain status as well. So both on the technology and on the business side, we're doing very, very well, and the valuation will take care of itself.
So let me add a little bit to that. So first and foremost, right, so we just had an excellent board review for our operational plan for next year over the weekend. So see, high level, if I take a step back, Zebi ultimately has, our vision is to ensure that we bring blockchain technology to real world applications. And we have launched several products. Most of you are familiar with our Zebi Asset Chain product, which we launched for the land registries. It's commercially implemented, probably the only global implementation
in production
in India, in the capital city of Amaravati. Our second product, Zebi AI Chain, you probably would have seen the news that it's now adopted across 1,000 hotels, and there is very nice momentum for that product, and the police department is extremely happy in the state of Andhra Pradesh. We plan to take it to the rest of the 29 states as well. And of course, when it comes to the third product, Zebi Edu Chain, we have some exciting news for you, which we will announce later this week, about the market traction of Edu Chain product. And so naturally, there are a lot of questions from the community on Zebi public blockchain, which Babu will address in this session. And we will try to get you a very detailed technology and product roadmap by the end of this week, so that, basically you can see how much progress we have made since we have gone ICO early last year. So bottom line is, the crypto markets are what they are. We cannot control the markets. We cannot predict, where the markets will go or headed. So at the end of the day, what we want to ensure is Zebi continues on its mission to create exciting and innovative blockchain products for real-world applications.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Sudhir. I guess there is one question about, in our new CTO role, will you handle the technical team directly? Yes, that's the idea, so that I can give a lot of my energies and time to make sure that the public blockchain is delivered within the year and with high quality. And
yeah, so when it comes to actually blockchain technology, see, it's a nascent technology, and the world has a lot of open source programmers and developers that are contributing, but at the end of the day, it's not real easy to actually integrate with the real world. So what Zebi is trying to do, when it comes to land registry product, or the AI chain product for the hospitality industry, or Edu chain product for the education industry, you need a lot of domain expertise in those verticals, and you need to understand what the customer desires when it comes to ensuring immutability, or audit trail, etc., which blockchain is famous for. When it comes to designing the product with the right features so that the customer accepts and adopts that product, it's going to be a challenge. So naturally, what the task and the challenges that lie ahead for our technology and engineering team is nothing less than Herculean. So Babu has a lot of work to do, and most of you will be pleased with the progress that we have made to date. And you will see that hopefully by the end of this week, when Babu will publish a technology piece covering our entire product development progress, as well as what the future holds for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sudhir is talking about the designing it well, right? Creating a private blockchain and still keeping it decentralized, it's not that easy. That's what we've been able to accomplish. And also creating a decentralized system and still getting real world adoption. That's the tricky part, because a lot of governments, a lot of large corporations, they don't want to keep, give away data or give away control. So we're able to find that balance where the data is protected within the trusted private nodes, but still there is a hash on the public nodes. There is a hash on Ethereum right now, right? So that's the balance that we're able to bring. And the very interesting question, detailed question, great point. On the current roadmap, on the roadmap that we had published along with the ICO white paper back in 2018, early months, there was no public blockchain at that time. right? I mean, it was really not in the plan. So we did add in the roadmap based on the feedback that we received from the community, and based on the obviously the responses that we got from internal customers and internal associates as well, right? So that's now there, and the roadmap is enhanced significantly. And like Sudhir indicated, I'll be publishing a Medium article with all the details. So what is there? What are the additional things that we're adding? What are the things that are actually moving out? A few things that we had to move out, the less critical things, because obviously we're taking in the big, huge scope of adding the public blockchain by end of this year. And I think there are a few other questions. Will the public mainnet be permissionless? All of these details, just watch out, wait for the Medium article. It's too much of detail to talk about in the overall AMA.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah. So the KPIs, can you please discuss them on a monthly basis? Number of hotels, yes, I think that's already happening. We answered the question with a rhetoric, with a clear, not in words, but actual action, right? So I think our marketing team, Nitash and team, they already published the article about crossing 1,000 hotels. And we continue to make great progress across, asset chain, edu chain. Obviously, AI chain is where the hotels are deployed on.
So, and we hope to give you some positive news by the end of this week on the adoption for Zebi edu chain product line.
Yeah, so there's a big thing that's coming out, but obviously you have to wait a few days. Okay, so third one on PL, profit loss, balance sheet, cash balance. So as a private company, we don't announce the financials, but we do have funds for more than a year to last the current operations. And if we grow and get more revenue, then we'll have more, right? But at least a year that we have funds for at this time. And so
so this is at the current Ether prices. So basically, we have been very capital efficient. So we are still sitting on close to 7,000 Ether that we raised in the ICO. And, we are managing our cash flow on a quarter-to-quarter basis. And so at the current Ether prices, we basically have funds at least to last a year to fund our product development as well as all of our operating plan.
Yeah, and we are getting revenues. Obviously, we're not disclosing the exact numbers, but as you can see, we didn't spend too much of the money that we raised, and it's already been a year. And we announced that we moved to a bigger office in Hyderabad, and we have a growing office in Vizag too. So we're doing well, both on the team growth and the business growth, revenue recognition, various fronts. We're doing very, very well. Right. Okay. So number 4 question: are we aiming for other countries apart from India? Seems to be bleak response by authorities in terms of adoption. I think they mean in India adoption. And we're growing very well in India already, but we are looking at other countries too.
So, so on that note, we are basically doing a pilot with a confidential customer in Thailand. This is to deploy Zebi chain for the logistics industry. So we are calling that product Zebi Logchain. When the pilot is complete and it's ready to go mainstream, we will definitely announce the details. On the same note, our Zebi AI chain, we are now having discussions with a few prospects in the Middle East. And so obviously, this is very preliminary. So naturally, at least those are a few data points that can give you the comfort that we are indeed looking outside of India as well. In fact, if you have noticed during the ICO process, our tagline for the company was blockchaining Indian big data. And we just dropped Indian from the tagline. So we just want to blockchain big data that emanates from any part of the world.
Yeah, so we are blockchaining big data of the whole world, not just India. And the next question is Zebi a scam? And I think there's another, it's a joke, right? And somebody is asking, is the Bitcoin going to trash on the Facebook Live?
So see, I understand, people might be cynical at times, given the fact that, the entire crypto markets are experiencing a nuclear winter. And when you have 2000 plus coins, you really don't know who to trust and who's real and who's not. So to that extent, this is an open invitation for all of our coin holders to basically come visit us. We have offices in Hyderabad, in Vizag, we are going to open an office in Bengaluru later this week. And so we are available, and very recently we even signed up an office in Silicon Valley, in the city of Milpitas, basically. So feel free to ping us, and if you want to visit us and have a conversation, we are more than happy to entertain that.
Yeah. So we are a real company with real business, real people, real products that are very, very committed and capable and executing at high efficiency. Okay, iOS app for the what's known as booking app. It's essentially Zebi AI Chain iOS app. It's in the beta version right now. It should be released in production in a few weeks, very soon. Again, you'll see it on Zebi channels once it's announced, but it's almost there. Just stay patient for a couple of weeks and you'll see the iOS app. Okay, token economics, transaction fees. A lot of these details we'll talk about in the Medium article about public blockchain. Some of it immediately, and some as we make progress and as more and more data comes into the blockchain. And if the value of the token were to fall significantly, would that harm the Zebi blockchain, or for us, immediately there's no impact. Like Sudhir mentioned, we are very capital efficient and we are getting revenues. So the Ether price or the Zebi coin price, it wouldn't have any immediate impact on us. But remember, the company has reserves and the executive allocation, they're all held up for several months, right? I think we're the only ICO probably that locked up our own coins, the founders' coins, the executive coins, for more than 18 months, right? That's a very, very unusual thing that shows that we are here for long term. We believe in the long term and we're investing in the long term.
So there is a comment on public blockchain and the relevance. So while we are targeting governments and enterprises as our customers, at the end of the day, most of the data, whether it's governments or enterprises, they really want privacy, and they want to control the data. They want to own the data. So naturally, the initial implementation of our products are all private blockchain, and we are only going to store the hash on the public blockchain. Now, today, our products have the capability to store the hash on Ethereum public blockchain. But unfortunately, Ethereum public blockchain is extremely slow. That's the whole reason why Zebi public blockchain has been conceived. And I can tell you, based on my initial discussions with Babu, that Zebi public blockchain will be 100 times faster. So that's orders of magnitude faster than Ethereum blockchain from a transactions per second. So naturally, you can see why we would want that capability. An enterprise or a government, when they are trying to avail basically either a read or a write on the blockchain, you want that to happen faster and sooner, so that our products stay efficient and useful for our customers.
Yeah, certainly. That's a great point. Just to reiterate, right? So with Zebi blockchain, we're able to balance very unusual conflicting aspects, which is increasing the speed and also reducing the cost. Usually when you make something faster, the cost increases. Like imagine you want faster internet, you have to pay more, right? But with Zebi blockchain, we're reducing the cost. We don't have, we'll not have a dependency on Ethereum. once the public blockchain goes live. So our cost will go down. The cost of, I think this is actually a good segue into question number 8. Will the ZCO be used in the system for Zebi services? Right, certainly, that's the whole idea. Zebi will be paid, Zebi coin ZCO will be paid for data protection or data access on the blockchain. And the cost will actually, for the customer will be much lower than having to go through Ethereum or other expensive blockchains. And again, we're faster too. Okay, question number 9. So the amount, the minimum staking amount is still the 100K. There's no change. I mean, that's the commitment that we made. And if you remember, all of the commitments that we made in the white paper or in the original messaging, we continue to keep them. So there's no change. And that's the level of trust that we continue to maintain on a regular basis. Any plans for new exchange listings? Yes, certainly.
So my goal is to ensure that Zebi coin stays very liquid for not only existing coin holders, but also new traders, new funds that actually want to take positions in Zebi coin. So naturally, my objective for basically this year is to ensure that we get listed in the top 10 exchanges by volume. And we will continuously be in the pursuit. And so, any help that the community can offer in that endeavor is always welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so I think there's 11th question is what happened with the interview with Brad? I guess this is blockchain Brad. So I think people are behaving differently now that the bear market is here, right? So we are in touch with blockchain Brad, but he hasn't responded to the request for doing an AMA. So it may happen sometime in the future, but don't expect that immediately. But we are in touch. We are, I'm in touch with him on Skype. That's where I had the original interaction. Okay, what's the current stage of Zebi during the bear market? Are you sustainable enough? We already answered this question.
Yeah.
More than a year, cash, and growing with revenues. How are you going to increase the market value of your coin?
So basically, so as I was saying, we probably are one of the few blockchain companies that have products tied to real world applications. So we want to continue that. And at the end of the day, we want to build solid fundamentals as a company so that we are recognized as the preeminent blockchain company with technology as well as applications. So we will continue to do that. And as I indicated earlier, if the company fundamentals are solid, we are getting good market traction. So naturally, it should have an impact on the coin.
Yeah, absolutely. So another buyback in pipeline. I think that's also announced. 1,000 Ether by executives and board members. So this time, the key company executives, they're showing their confidence in Zebi by buying, with their own personal money.
So there are a few questions.
You want to take those Facebook lives? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when can we use Zebi services for B2B? So right now, basically, we haven't. If you look at our roadmap that we published last year in our white paper, if we want to actually interface Zebi's products with two enterprises or a government and an enterprise, you need smart contracts that have compounding capability. So that is basically in our roadmap, in our revised roadmap, which Babu will share by the end of this week, probably by 2020 timeframe.
Yeah.
So we are at least 12 to 18 months out with respect to that capability. So the next question is how and when Zebi is going to expand its geographic area apart from AP and Telangana. I think this we already addressed. Now, more than just within India, we spoke about India and countries outside as well. Next question, how could data generated from Zebi's current 3 verticals be of value as DAS? So this is fairly straightforward, right? So if you look at the 3 products that we have, so the first is land registry, so which means if a person has ownership of any assets, we have access to that data. Now the second is hospitality. So within that AI chain process, a Zebi ID is created for this person, the same person, if there is commonality, right? So the same Zebi ID could be used to refer to one's assets that were recorded in Zebi asset chain. And the third product is Edu chain. So if the same person with the Zebi ID has education background that is also in our database. So you can clearly see that we are adding data from multiple vectors for the same person under a unique ID. So naturally, as we launch more products in more verticals, as much of information is common can actually get into the unique database. And so naturally, it's going to help out in the larger, in the grand scheme of things. So to actually generate traction with the Zebi DAS, data as a service concept, it probably will be a couple of years before our products reach critical mass and we have good adoption in the marketplace. So that way, naturally, the more data you have, the more data you're sitting on, then DAS becomes really, really powerful. So it's a slightly longer term, but shorter term, our focus is to get more products out into more verticals so that we can actually step by step reach out to the DASH vision.
Yeah. So DAS is where customers, either individuals or companies, pay for data access fees. And at the same time, in the current phase, as we are creating a strong foundation for getting more and more valuable high value data into the blockchain, we charge for data protection, right? For the current asset chain product that's deployed in Andhra Pradesh government for more than a year now, we're charging for data protection. And Edu chain or AI chain, in all of these use cases, we are charging for data protection, and that's where Zebi is able to get revenue and make more progress. But like Sudhir said, in a few years, once there is enough data on the blockchain, the data access fees, DAS, APIs, which are hugely scalable, right? Because the data is already there and it's growing, and the fees will just keep coming to the blockchain, and obviously the fees could be paid using ZCO.
So there is a question on Facebook basically about Zebi's product applicability to the manufacturing ecosystem. We are having discussions with a few pharmaceutical companies. So naturally, there is every chance that we might announce a product in that space as well. And at least this question is a little lengthier, but yes, it is possible to track cycle time, measurements, tests, and of course any compliance related to FDA all on the blockchain. It's not at all a problem, and so manufacturing industry can easily be serviced with Zebi's core technology.
Yeah, and the next one on the public blockchain communication. See, right now the data is being protected on the private nodes, and that's what will be accessible through whatever is the term, either Zebi Data Gateway or just call it Zebi Blockchain DAS APIs, right? And the 100K minimum, yes, that's still, again, that's the promise that we made, and we are keeping it. So if somebody has 100,000 Zebi coins, they are guaranteed to have a staking opportunity in the Zebi public blockchain, proof of stake, POS mechanism. Right? Where are we now? Okay, we're looking at the.
So why don't we
questions.
move to the Reddit questions while I screen some of these comments.
Okay. So buyback in pipeline, yes, that's already happened. Again, we're showing it in action, not just words. We are, the buyback has already started by the executives. So we should set up a Chinese group as we need those guys in the long run. Yes. So I guess the Chinese group will happen soon. Zebi. And what's the Zebi's plan for the first quarter of 2019? We already executed on one of those big milestones. We crossed 1,000 hotels, and so they talked about opening Bangalore office. All of those details will be announced in a few days. And iOS app is coming in 2019 first quarter. And the updated roadmap that I'll announce at the end of the week, it'll have probably a couple of more line items there.
So, we are also talking to, certain players, ecosystem players in two new verticals. One is the telecommunications industry. Most of you know that India has more than 1 billion cellular connections and the world's second largest telecommunications market. And so we are actively having conversations with the players in the industry, and we believe that industry can definitely avail the benefits of implementing blockchain technology. So the other vertical is financial industry, so banking, financial, and securities industries. So we are also developing a product for that vertical. So the launch of that product obviously is completely tied to the success of the pilot. We plan to initiate in the second quarter of this year. And if the pilot is successful, then of course you will hear more details on the BFSI product as well.
Yeah, those are very interesting updates. So we're good on the Facebook questions?
Yeah.
Okay. We need to know if you're track on with the roadmap, what is finished. Are we following the roadmap religiously? It is, very religious. But like I said earlier, because we added huge scope public blockchain into the roadmap, we had to move out a few items like employment chain, right? That based on the response from customers, based on the current progress that we had, we felt it's better if we do employment chain a bit later. So we're not doing that. But most other roadmap items, they're already completed. We're on track. And the exact details of what is done, what is added, what is new, all of that will be published by end of the week, Medium article. Okay.
So employee records, so we are calling the product Zebi HR Chain, just for the community. So naturally, again, while the product is under development, we are always taking up the initiative only and if we get a prospective customer that can actually resource a pilot with us. So at the end of the day, there is no point launching products if there is no value proposition for the customer and the end user. So naturally, it can be done, and we are thinking about it. But the main issue is, is there a resource that can actually work with us, collaborate with us, test it out, and derive some benefits. Otherwise, there's no point just implementing something that is, let's say, nice to have, right? People and customers should feel the necessity. It has to be a must-have product.
Yeah, I guess there is something about Crypto Zombie. Just give some more details, please. His Twitter ID or something, or a Skype ID. So Sudhir, I can
Oh, AMA with Crypto Zombie. Yeah, we are more than happy to do AMAs with whoever our community prefers to support us with. So please send information to info@zebi.co, or you can even ping us on Facebook, and we'll be able to follow up to set up these AMAs.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Going back to Reddit questions, are these masternodes hosted by a third party, or do you host them yourself? The public nodes will obviously be hosted by the person that's holding the Zebi coins, right? These are staking nodes. The trusted nodes are hosted by the data provider, the data custodian, like a land registry department, or hotels, or a police department, or a university that's protecting their education records on Zebi blockchain. Okay, now question number 19. I was wondering if individuals whose data will be released will access the platform. So individuals will have a mobile app, and I think there's a mobile app for the hotel administrator also, and there is a desktop dashboard for the police, and there will be, we don't have one yet, but there'll be a desktop dashboard for universities as well. I wonder if Zebi has ever bought about partnership with Aircoins app. Okay, I don't know what that is. Let's spread Zebi to mass adoption on crypto people in India, or just an idea. Okay, we'll research more. Nitash, make a note. Aircoins app. I don't know if it's just a marketing.
So the question is, this is from Reddit, about partnership with Aircoins app. So far we haven't had any conversations with them. So if anyone wants to facilitate that, we'll be happy to follow up.
Yeah. So on the mainnet will be permission blockchain or permissionless blockchain. So the public nodes, like I said, they're permissionless, right? Anybody can join. They would need to have and hold Zebi coins, and they can stake their Zebi coins to enforce transactions on the blockchain. But the nodes that hold the data, the full data, they will be permissioned, because they're holding really high value data, and the data will not be available on the on the permissionless open nodes. So it's kind of, again, a balance, very creative, very innovative, to bring the benefits of decentralization, bring the benefits of blockchain to real world adoption, while still making sure that the government departments and the private companies that hold data, they don't lose control of their own data. Okay, let's be honest, that we won't be mainstream currency. Hopefully that will not be as well.
Very lengthy question, but it's related to Zebi's adoption as a currency. We'll talk more about our product roadmap, specifically Zebi Pay, that actually integrates both fiat as well as crypto payments to avail any of Zebi's platform products and services. So this will be discussed in detail in the article that will be published by Babu by the end of this week on our technology roadmap.
Yeah. Okay, so the question is, I wish Babu can say a few words to investors to assure us. Both Sudhir and I, we have said a lot more than a few words. And again, there is an action happening too, like 1,000 hotels, 1,000 Ether buyback by the executives, a lot of things happening.
So the next question is about institutional investors. Fortunately, Zebi has dual track. So most of you are familiar that Zebi has a share structure and originally raised an angel round from investors in Silicon Valley. And subsequently, we went ICO and raised funds from the crypto community. And during the ICO process, we had at least half a dozen funds invest in the ICO. And every day I get pinged, not only by venture capital funds, but also crypto funds. So we have a dual track, and we never say never, right? So we always encourage funds to take positions in Zebi, whether it's equity or coins. And as and when it happens, we will be more than glad to announce that kind of engagement.
Okay, so Zebi, has it liquidated enough ether to finance project through these hard times?
Already addressed.
Yeah, already addressed. And more than a year of cash at the current prices. We need Nitash at the front, not only in the background. Absolutely. He just published the 1,000 hotels crossing article. Does Zebi have information on how many organizations are requesting data daily and how much data are you currently holding?
So this is more related to the DaaS. I think we addressed it. We need more products to be adopted and get increased market traction. And until then, until we actually have critical mass, the DaaS side of business won't take off anytime soon. So it's at least a couple of years away.
Yeah, I mean, like we have been explaining in the AMA so far, right? We are taking a very pragmatic approach to generate revenues as we make progress and make sure that we get data protection revenues while still building something that can create highly scalable, huge revenues for the future. Okay, again, another question on how Zebi handled the ICO ETH, they cashed out, we already answered. We need live demo of the private chain with Babu at the steering wheel.
So very recently, we demonstrated some of our products to our board. So naturally, what we can try to do is share that video to our community. But at the end of the day, to actually plan the live demo, it is possible. But as you can see, the intention is to actually streamline most of the product functionality, product robustness, and subsequently we want to get whatever live demos we are doing for prospective customers as well as existing customers, because it's software, so there are constant version upgrades that bring excellent additional features to the product. And so we will make these demo videos accessible on our website pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, there is one demo video we had uploaded
for the land registry.
Yeah, for the land registry during the ICO times. But obviously, the versions are getting upgraded, and we can show the latest version in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
And one thing I can't understand, we can't list on exchanges when other tokens are getting listed. Why, if we believe in the long term, this is the best chance to get
already
listed.
addressed.
Already addressed. Remember, there are not too many good exchanges with real volume. I mean, there are like so many exchanges that have this fake volumes. So we are focused on the ones with the good volumes. I was wondering if the trial with the supply chain company had finished yet.
It's still in pilot phase.
So far, Zebi has contracted 2 Indian states, already to one Indian state has elections. If there is change in government, no, there is no impact on Zebi contract. I mean, this is contract with the departments directly, and these are multi-year contracts. And we're growing, like we said, across India and outside India too. So our dependencies on one government or one state is pretty low.
It's going to be minimized.
Yeah. Okay, so the question is repeated with the blockchain, Brad.
Skip.
Okay, why not include ZAG protocol in partnerships? Will Zebi ever be used as a currency? No, a utility token. So Ian Belina recommended KuCoin. So we are talking to KuCoin. Life management, yeah, we did reach out to KuCoin listing. What can Zebi say about Indian banks forcing customers to sign contract not to use crypto and their bank account may be closed? Not really related to Zebi.
Yeah, so different countries have different standards. Unfortunately, crypto community, the crypto landscape itself is not yet regulated, even in the most developed of the nations. So it's going to take time, and whether it's India or China, slowly but surely, people will recognize the benefits of blockchain technology, and slowly but surely, they will ensure that there is regulation in place. So that way, there is a broad-based adoption of crypto.
Yeah. So a few questions on Facebook. We're going to talk about the partnerships network.
Yeah. So Zebi's growth plan spans multiple engagements. So naturally, we have a select list of alliances that we are focusing on. We also have a list of partners that we are having discussions with. And of course, from time to time, we also engage and collaborate with other companies. So naturally, it's a multi-pronged approach. But at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is to launch our products, ensure that there is customer adoption, market traction, and Zebi secures revenues, shows growth, which basically benefits the company and the coin.
Yeah. Thanks for the Crypto Zombie Telegram ID. So Nitash, make a note. I think the Facebook chat should be saved, but just in case, take a copy of the Crypto Zombie Telegram ID, Nitash. Yes, yeah, we will demo and show the latest version of the blockchain in the demo.
So there's a comment on the buyback or the management purchase of ZCOs. So we just announced this early this morning. So over the weekend at the board meeting, we got this approved. So basically, again, it's just a testament to showcase management confidence in where we think Zebi is headed and the growth potential. So naturally, the directors and officers collectively together will purchase up to 1,000 Ether worth of ZCOs. So that's pretty much the announcement.
Okay, so let's do a couple of Reddit questions.
Sure.
So, any more hotels adapting Zebi? I mean, like we said, we just crossed 1,000 hotels. Just compare that with almost 100 hotels that we had at the beginning of last year, right? So it's phenomenal growth.
It's a 10x growth.
Yeah, 10x growth in just 1 year, right? And it just shows how useful Zebi AI chain product is, and how important it is both for hotels and for police. And we're going to give more benefits to the individual as well with the iOS and Android apps for Zebi ID. Okay, so again, this is the third time about blockchain, Brad.
No, skip. If already you see answered. A repeat, just skip.
Yeah, can I visit your office? Certainly. I mean, I think Sudhir welcomed all of you.
We have another 11 minutes.
Yeah.
So why don't you just
let's just
scroll?
Okay, Zebi Pay launching, yes. Increase the market value of a coin. Like we said, we're focusing on the business fundamentals. And when the market recovers, we'll be one of the top coins. Are you planning to attract enterprise clients, or do you already have some? Yes, of course. And we're growing too. We're getting revenues from enterprises. Admin, the current state of Zebi, are you sustainable? Yes, we have cash. Are you aiming for other countries? Yes. Blockchaining, big data, world's big data. Can you discuss Zebi's current financials? Both, we're not announcing financials, but we are announcing a lot of key indicators, number of hotels, the progress that we're making. We're demoing our live product.
I think some of these are repeat.
Yeah, some of these
scroll down. So there is a question: have you been in touch with the Indian government in any way? So Indian government is a pretty big organization, but one of our strategy, this is apart from alliances, partners, and other corporates that we collaborate with, is also to basically work with the regulatory bodies in India. So naturally, if you take the telecommunications vertical, there is a regulatory body. If you take the BFSI, there is a regulatory body. So naturally, we are having conversations with the regulators in India, and that is one way to actually address the concerns that a regulator might have with respect to tracking certain functionality or certain data, certain patterns within that vertical, so that they can leverage blockchain technology. And so as we make progress on some of these discussions, if it turns out into a brand new product that is going to be implemented in that vertical by all the ecosystem players, should the regulator mandate it, then it's definitely a great outcome for Zebi, and we'll keep you posted on that.
Okay. So question 50 is about buyback in comparison to other coins. Yes, we just announced the buyback by the executives. In Zebi team, do you want to reward top holders? I think that's something that we can consider. Okay, Nitash, make a note. Question 51. Volume is key for survival, and can people buy the coin? Listing on decent exchange. I mean, we are listed on one of the top 10 exchanges, OKX, and there is pretty good volume on OKX. We're looking at listing on other exchanges like Sudhir indicated. How will masternodes work? Staking wallet via smart contracts similar to ontology. It's going to be a POS mechanism, and more details will be announced in the coming months for our Zebi public blockchain. Roadmap is up to date. Like I mentioned, most of the items in the roadmap are completed. We're on track, but a few things we intentionally pushed out to make sure we do the critical things that our business and the community wanted, like the public blockchain. Can you provide an updated roadmap overview of AI chain, real world adoption of AI chain? 1,000 hotels is a big deal.
One sec, Babu. There is a question on the organization and the corporate structure. So basically, so most of you know about the CEO change. So I'm building my leadership team, and so far we brought in Arun as the CFO. We have Babu as the CTO, and they are building their next level teams as well. And later this week, we will announce a chief operating officer. And beyond that, basically, we do plan to actually have a good sales force within all the metros in India. And we have signed a partnership with kind of a joint venture with a Middle East company, so that they are the feet on the ground and opening doors for us to take Zebi's blockchain products to the entire Middle East. And we are having constant conversations with respect to partners in other countries as well, so that as and when there is an opportunity, Zebi's blockchain technology can basically have conversations with the relevant customers in that particular country.
Okay, so a little bit about Zebi FinChain. We are making good progress there. Just give us another month or so, and we'll announce possibly good adoption in.
Yeah, most likely pilot in Q2, as I said earlier.
Okay. And do you feel communication community engagement has been pretty decent so far? Public mainnet, community participation. I mean, we're doing this AMA, right? Ask questions. Looking back, APIs, data. Yes, milestones are achieved. The details will be announced in the end of the week.
So last 5 minutes, Babu. Is there anything that stands out in that questions? Just scroll quickly and see.
So a lot of questions are repetitive.
Yeah,
about,
so skip those.
Mainnet or milestones. How is Zebi currently making money? Yes, we are getting revenues for data protection. What is the value of ZCO? Again, ZCO will be used on the public blockchain.
Skip.
Yes, the rumors are true about the 1,000 hotels. We crossed 1,000.
It's no longer a rumor, okay? So And I think there is another article that Nitash published earlier today. So you will see a lot more, top branded hotels as well that adopted within these 1,000 hotels where Zebi AI chain is implemented.
Yeah, the DaaS ones, again, it will take a few years, couple of years. But right now the focus is on data protection and growing the blockchain adoption across the world.
Is that the end?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we talked about, Sudhir talked about the team and key responsibilities, corporate government adoption of the blockchain.
We covered all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the final 3 minutes. So I just want to wrap it up again. Thanks a lot for those of you that participated in this live AMA. We will try to make this recording available on our Facebook page as well as on our website and all other social channels. I do want to reiterate again, we want to be the preeminent leader in blockchain technology and applications. We already launched 3 products that have mainstream adoption, solving real problems in the world. We have our own Zebi public blockchain that's going to go live by the end of this year. And of course, at the end of the day, there are a lot of concerns given the nature of the crypto market today about our cash situation. So we have operational expenses covered for at least a year. And I'm talking to a lot of funds on a daily basis. So, I myself come from a venture capital background. So naturally, we will try to ensure that Zebi always has sufficient working capital to fund its product development, operations, and market adoption. So with that, Babu, do you have any last few comments?
No, you want to thank the community that trusted us, that supported us from the beginning. And again, welcome to Sudhir, coming in full time to Zebi as a CEO. Like I mentioned earlier, Zebi is going from strength to strength, and that's what most of our associates are saying. So thank you very much, guys.
And thanks for all your support.
Yeah, exciting phase to be in. And somebody is saying thanks for the MA. See more of this in 2019. Absolutely.
Go Zebi.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Good night. Bye. Okay, save it, I guess.